Good evening. Welcome to Satsang. I'm so happy that you are here. This is a first for me. It's my first English online Satsang. And I hear my own voice. Why is that? I'm so happy that you are here. This is a first for me. It's my first English online Satsang. What's going on? I hear my own voice. Why is that? Very strange. Sorry for this, but I need to fix this, otherwise. Strange. Sorry for this, but I need to fix this, otherwise. Oh well. I guess I will have to hear myself, no problem. So, this is the first, as you can see, the hiccups of a premiere. It's the first time I'm streaming something like this myself. And I would like to tell you briefly, if this is your first satsang, what we actually do here in satsang. I have been with my spiritual master and with my guru for over 25 years. And here in satsang, I share about what I learned during this time, about life, about real life. You see, the spiritual path is nothing esoteric. It's nothing which is apart from life. It's like the actual purpose of life. And I would like to talk about this in a practical way. And I'm here to answer your questions about your life or about your spiritual path. And if you have questions, you can write them in the YouTube chat or in the Zoom chat if you are participating over Zoom. And you can also talk to me directly over Zoom if you like. And if nobody here in the live broadcast has a question, I have also a few emails I received from all over the world. And if I have time, I will read them and answer them. So, we can just start right away. Simone, do you have anything you would like to read out? Do you have any questions already?
Yes, I have them. I have one question. And Michael, maybe I have an idea. You could try it for the YouTube. I think you should try to put the video there on pause to stop it. So because otherwise it's twice, I guess. I had the problem with.
Yeah, of course you're right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yep, that was it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was driving me nuts.
So I read the question. The question is from Mary.
Hello, Mary. I'm happy that you're here.
Dear Michael, I want to ask you if you could say some words to the challenge with my mom's behavior I'm currently facing. She's 76 years old and depressive since several months. It is not the first time that she's depressive, but now she actually moves between the kitchen where she smokes and her bedroom, with a few exemptions of doing some household stuff. She seems absent and in thoughts, and in conversations, she focuses either on the past, on things she should have done differently, or she repeats again and again which things she can't get done but actually should. It's really difficult to have a reasonable conversation with her, and sometimes I talk too impatiently to her and too severe, and I feel that I'm not right at all. Please say something to this situation. Many thanks.
Thank you. You know, it's difficult with family members because we are so close to them. And we love them. We are connected to them. And we feel responsible. And as soon as you feel responsible for your mother, you are in trouble. You see, I will now say something which may sound a little bit harsh. But somebody like your mother doesn't want to get help. That's her problem. That's her disease. Yeah? She wants to stay in her hole. That's the characteristics of the trouble she has. And that's why you can't help her. Part of this disease is to make other people help her and refuse the help. I mean, it's not conscious, you know, I'm not saying that she does this on purpose. But what I want to say is, you can't help her. In fact, when you are her daughter, you are the last person who could help her. Yeah? If you are concerned about her, if you want to get help for her, you can have other people look for her, a professional, a psychotherapist or psychiatrist. But you will not be able to help her. You can still love her, you know. If you want, you can go there and visit her. And when you can go there and leave this feeling of being responsible for her outside, yeah. When you enter the house, you put your coat on the hanger and put this feeling of I am her daughter, I'm responsible for her also on that hanger. And then enter the house and you can love her, and if possible, you can even talk to her. And it's very difficult, but if you are close to her, but if you meet her and inside of yourself, you give her permission to be the way she is, to suffer. And when you try to do this, you will understand what I'm talking about. This is difficult, yeah? To see somebody else. It's like this. We want to help somebody else because we can stand it, seeing somebody else suffering. We can't stand it. It's painful for us. And that's why we want to help them. We want to get them out of there. But we can't. The more you try, the more you become part of a problem. It's like she has to get to the point where she herself starts wanting to get better. There are cases where you cannot leave somebody with themselves. Yeah? Sometimes you meet somebody and you know this person needs serious help. And then you call them psychiatrist. But I guess in your case it's not like this. You can meet her, but let her in her situation. And if you cannot do this, yeah, if it's not pleasant for you, if it's not something you want to do, if it is like this, then don't go there. You are not responsible for her. That's the one thing. And there's something else. I don't know how your practical circumstances are when you go there. But when you meet your parents, when you meet very close family members where you have a hard time with, it's very important that you have space where you are free from this. And what I mean by this practically is you go there, maybe you travel to another city to meet her, to visit her. Make sure that you don't stay in her space. Yeah? Stay in a hotel, stay at a friend. And then you can go there for a few hours, as long as you want. And then you can go out of there again into a neutral atmosphere where you are with your own energy. And then you can come back to yourself. When you stay in her house, it is very difficult. It's like you are in the house for a few hours and you lose yourself. This energy you bring, which might be even good for her, is being sucked up and lost. When you stay there overnight or a few nights, it's like you get lost. And this is not good for you. And it's also not good for your mother. So go there so you always have the possibility to withdraw into your own space. This is very helpful. And if you do this, this also makes it easier when you meet her because you don't depend on her. Yeah? It's very difficult when you meet a person and that person knows you are here and you can't go away. But you go there and you can leave anytime. You are free. And this will change the whole atmosphere. Try that. Thank you for your question. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you.
There's another question, Michael.
Yes,
I will
please.
read it out. It's from Michael or from Michael. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Michael. Hello. Nice that you're here. Great name, by the way.
Thank you, Michael, for doing this satsang in English. I have a question. I experience a lot of fear since my whole childhood, but I was not aware of this. It was my normal. Some teachers have told me to face the fear, face and be with these intrusive thoughts, and then they will pass. But I have tried, and I don't know if this is the correct way. I believe there is so much unconscious thoughts I'm not aware of. I feel very confused, not knowing how to be free of the fear. What do you have to say on this? In what direction can you point me to? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to tell you two things about this. The one is, if you try to get free from the fear, you go into the wrong direction. I suggest to you that you go into the opposite direction. Make friends with the fear. Invite the fear. You see, you are running away from the fear your whole life. And the fear is running after you. Yeah? The fear wants to be your friend. She is in your life for a purpose. And you want to get rid of her. And it doesn't work because this is not good for you. It's not good for you to get rid of your feelings. Stop running and start welcoming the fear. That means feel the fear, but not this with this attitude, okay, I feel you now, so then you go away. This is not very friendly. No. Stop running and be willing to face the fear, to welcome her into your home. And she can stay forever. That's the attitude. And when you do this, you will discover something very, very interesting. I will not tell you what you will discover. I want you to discover this diamond yourself. This will take a while. Yeah, not much time, but yeah, it's not a thing of 5 minutes. When you have time, sit down, close your eyes, and welcome the fear. Yeah, I'm sure you have times in your everyday life where this fear is stronger and more tangible for you. And then if you have the space for it, become quiet and stop running and tell her, okay, fear, I want to meet you. Come, I want to feel you. Yeah. It's like you let yourself be surrounded by this feeling. Let the fear be everywhere. And just feel it quietly, without thoughts, without thinking about it, without thinking what the fear means and where it comes from, this feeling. Just pure. Feel this feeling totally pure in your body. How does it feel to feel this fear? Without thoughts, that's the important part. But the most important thing, whether you can feel it very well or not, this is not important. The important part is don't send her away. Welcome her. Let her be here, this fear. And you can do the same thing with other feelings too. Let them be here. This does not mean that you have to express it. Yeah? Expressing the feeling is just another way of getting rid of it. Yeah? No. Be quiet with it. As if the fear is a scared child. Yeah? My spiritual master Soham, he often says, when you welcome the fear, when the fear is allowed to come close to you, when the fear is allowed to stay, then the fear is not scared anymore. Try this out. This is really a game changer. Don't try to get rid of the fear. It's not necessary. And it doesn't work. And this you know already. And I would like to suggest something else to you. It's like you don't know your true ground. You don't know where you are safe. You don't know where you can go to where everything is okay. And as human beings, we feel lost and totally insecure and scared in this unpredictable life, living in these bodies where we know that they will die sooner or later. And if we have not found a safe space, it's only natural that we are somehow scared deep down, very deep down. But when you find your true ground, I like to call it like this. You know, it's like this. You think you are this body. You think you have been born a few years ago, and in a few years you will die. And when this body dies, you will be gone. There will be no Michael anymore. And you are scared. But that what you are, that has been in existence before this body came into existence. And that what you are is still here when this body dies. You don't know this, but you can find out. You can find out what that is, what is you, apart from this body. You know, we just celebrated Christmas. We celebrated the birth of Jesus Christ. And Jesus talked about eternity. And Jesus was a practical guy, just like I am a practical guy. He talked about the real stuff. He didn't talk about some distant, esoteric future where you will go when you do everything right in this life, and then you die, and then you go to some kind of heaven somewhere else. No, he never talked about anything like this. When he talked about eternity, he talked about that which is timeless. Yeah. That which was before this body in this time world started, and that what is afterwards too, without time. He talked about your real existence. Swamiji, my guru, he says, in reality, you are a soul. That's the same thing Jesus spoke about, just different words. The soul is here before the body comes, and the soul is here when the body is long gone. And when you think you are this body, you are scared in one way or another. But when you begin to discover this, what you really are, then for the first time, you can really relax. You are safe. And it's easy to discover this. It just takes a little bit of time. If you know my videos, I talk about the Samapan meditation. And it's totally simple. Yeah, you sit down every morning for half an hour. That's all it takes, half an hour a day. And during this half an hour, you rest in the crown chakra. Up here, the crown chakra is simply the highest spot of your head. That's where you rest with your attention when you have your eyes closed for half an hour. And during this half an hour, you don't give attention to all of your thoughts. You don't give attention to your body. But you just rest up there and you do nothing. And this sounds like nothing. This sounds like easy, and you don't know what this is supposed to be good for. But when you do this, when you become quiet every morning before you start your day, and you remove your attention from your thoughts and give your attention to this quiet spot up here, then over time, after a while, you begin to notice that there is something else than that what you knew so far. Slowly, slowly, it's like you're meeting yourself. And when you meet this, your essence, you become really quiet and relaxed. There is no fear. And I give you these two recommendations at the same time. I tell you how you can immediately deal with your fear. Otherwise, it's really hard to sit down and meditate. But then the real thing is the meditation. Because if you don't know, if you don't experience yourself, that there is no reason to be worried, then it's only natural that you will be worried and scared. Yeah. Start with welcoming your fear and let it be here. Let everything which is in you be there, no matter what it is. And meditate. Meditate the way you are, with your fear and with everything else. And if you're interested in the Samarpa meditation, there are a few videos I made about it. And on my website, there is the meditation page, the page I made about the Samarpa meditation. And then there you find links to Swamiji, that's the guru who brings the Samarpa meditation into the world. And you find links to the Samarpa meditation organization, and there's tons of stuff to discover. And it's totally simple and totally easy. It's free of charge, doesn't cost anything. And just to clarify, this is not my meditation. In all of my videos, I speak about the Samarpa meditation simply because this is what transformed my life. You know, in my life, it was like this. I met my spiritual master 25 years ago, Soham. And he taught me to be at peace with myself. And he taught me what I just recommended to you about the fear. He taught me to be in peace with my feelings. And this changed my life. This made me happy and quiet and content. But only after I met the Samarpa meditation 7 years ago, only after I met Swamiji, the guru who brings this meditation, and after I started meditating, only then did I discover my true being. And only then I became really content. Before I was peaceful, everything was fine, but I was not satisfied. So that's why I recommend these two things together. If you have more questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you, Michael. I'm happy that you're here.
I have no more questions to read at the moment, Michael.
Yeah, then I will read out an email question, which I received in English. And again, if you listen and if you have a question you would like to ask, just put it into the chat and Simone will read it out. So I'm reading these questions without mentioning the name. I think it's easier when I do this anonymously. I used to be a high vibrational woman until my 55th birthday. Then a betrayal trauma opened my hidden emotion box. I got panic attacks. I became insecure. I got bad thoughts, and I became numb and passive. I couldn't sleep. And they took me even to a hospital. Now I'm back to my work where I'm uplifting people. However, I am in bad shape. I did therapy, but indeed to get rid of the awful feeling and trying to get my energy back and to heal my autoimmune disease, but nothing helps. In your YouTube channel, I heard that I should start the meditation. Is that all? Do you do private sessions online? I want to live again, and I don't know how, and I'm desperately looking for help outside. Everything has been analyzed, everything has been discussed, but I cannot work myself out of this. I don't feel the power to escape from this black blanket. Thank you. I'm really touched when people have the courage and the trust to write me their most personal issues. Thank you. Well, in a way, I can tell you exactly the same thing what I just told to Michael. You write it so honestly. You try to get rid of the feelings. You try to escape the feelings. And I tell you that if you try something else, maybe something nobody else tells you, if you try to allow those feelings to be here, to be a host to them, it will change everything. It's like, I know you cannot imagine this right now, but it's like when you allow the feelings to come to you, you realize that they bring you something. Each of these feelings bring you something. They bring you energy, they bring you the solution, and they bring you a part of yourself. Sometimes it's really good to get help out there. Sometimes it's really appropriate to do therapy and to see a doctor. And if it's really acute, to go to the hospital so people can help you. But when you find yourself in a situation where nothing helps, this is usually a clear indication that what you're dealing with is not supposed to go away, but it's supposed to be welcomed by you. And it's my own experience with my own feelings and with my own trauma that this is a good way. Sometimes people face such severe feelings that first they need a little bit of help, for instance, with a therapist or psychiatrist or a hospital. But then after a while, when the immediate danger is taken care of, then slowly, slowly you can begin to make friends with all these things. And I faced this myself too. I also experienced a time in my life where suddenly and totally unexpectedly my childhood trauma got triggered and came to the surface for the very first time in my life. And those feelings were amazingly strong. And it took a while, But I was so lucky back then. I also went to do a therapy, but the therapist I had was an enlightened therapist. He knew that what I told you just now. He knew those feelings, those emotions are not a problem. And he helped me do what I just suggest to you. With a lot of patience, he invited me to make friends with them. And it took a while for me. And when I was ready to make friends with those feelings, and I thought they will kill me, but the moment I became ready to make friends with them, the problem disappeared. I will never forget this. That's the possibility. You ask, you say that you heard me suggest that you should meditate, and you ask, is this all? Meditation is a profound change of your way of living. It's like this. Usually, we look out there with our attention, and that's the only thing we know. We look out in the world to other people. We look, how is our body doing? How are my feelings? This is all outside. Yeah. How is my job? How is my family? But we never look inside. We never look to that which is independent of this outside life. It's like each and every one of us has a huge, stable, sturdy rock inside, an island, a safe place. The soul, God, it's all the same. But we never, ever looked in this direction. And when you meditate, you start looking into this new direction, but you don't know anything about it. That's why in the beginning you think, what should meditation be good for? You know? I mean, it's like I'm just sitting there doing nothing. But, you sit down, and by ignoring your thoughts and by just resting in this quiet spot up here, that's what the Indians call the crown chakra. By doing that, by ignoring your thoughts, it's like you let the world go for just a few minutes, for just these 30 minutes in the morning. You ignore the world. Your eyes are closed. You don't do anything. You don't pay attention to your body. You just rest up here. And you also don't pay attention to the thoughts. The thoughts they are the world. Yeah. And in the beginning, you don't know why you do this. There's nothing. It feels good. It's kind of relaxing, and when you do this regularly, you will notice that it's almost like better than sleep. It really gives you strength and you recover. But in reality, something much more profound happens, but you don't notice this right away. By letting go of the world for a few minutes in the morning, you become more sensitive to the subtle, to that what is inside of you. And slowly, slowly, you begin to feel this. Maybe you can feel this even right now. Yeah. When you listen to somebody who is there, who knows this soul, who is this soul, then suddenly you can feel it a little bit yourself. You don't know how this is possible. But it's nothing I give you, it's nothing somebody else gives you, but in the proximity of somebody who lives there himself or herself, suddenly you can feel yourself, your true inner, also yourself, a little bit. And this gives you a taste of what I'm talking about. I think there was one more detail I would like to speak about. Yeah. So much I can say about your situation and my suggestion to you to meditate. And you ask whether I do private sessions. I get this question from time to time, where people want to have a direct session with me. And I do decline. I don't do this. And I would like to tell you why. And it has two reasons. The one reason is that I can't do it simply because I don't have the time and energy. When I give satsang, when I do videos, it takes a lot of energy. And when I want to do this authentically, I need to take very good care of myself. And I do as much as I can. And I want to give all of my energy to this because so many people can benefit from this. That's why I like to answer email questions and comments also in a video or like here in satsang, because then this time and energy is being shared with many, many people and not with just one person. But this is only one reason. There's another reason, and this is much more important for you. You know, when I would give you private sessions, and then maybe I even would charge money for it, then you would get the feeling that I have something which I give you, and that you need this. And then you would get the feeling, I got this from Michael, and I need Michael. And this is not true. The solution to all of your problems is easy. It's not complicated. It takes time, yes. One has to practice it, yes. But it's not complicated. It's nothing I have to tell you. I don't have to analyze with you your particular problem. And this is all not needed. What's needed is this constant reminder. Because what I tell you is so foreign. Yeah, maybe when you listen here in satsang, you have the feeling, yes, it is like this. This crazy guy is right. But tomorrow morning, you will have forgotten this and you will think, what is this nonsense? Because we are so used to think what everybody else thinks. And what we need is a constant reminder, again and again and again. focus inside, meditate. And we need this constant reminder from somebody we trust, from somebody we can look up to somebody we believe, who says, this is the right way. And that's all you need. And that's why I make videos all the time. This is why I give satsang. So you, if you like, can be reminded. That's why I send out, every morning I send out a very, very short email, the morning moments for your soul, for those people who feel like subscribing. It's free of charge, of course. Just so people who are interested get this tiny little reminder in the morning about the soul, about that direction which is really working. Because the entire world, and all your friends, and all your neighbors, and all your family, and your own head, or your own thoughts, will tell you the opposite. But when I give you a private session, then you will get the impression there is something I need to do with you. You will get the impression there's something you need to get from me. And this is not the truth. You have it already. You just have to get used to look into this new direction. Everybody can learn. And I'm just here to remind you again and again and again. And to make myself available to you so you can feel me. And then you will feel, yeah, this is true. This is true what this guy says. I can do this too. Yeah, that's why I don't do private sessions. But you can write to me via email. I will answer. And you can meet me personally if you like. I do retreats, my first retreats next year. You can find the information on my website. And there you can meet me personally if you want. But I'm really happy when people come. It's great fun to have a week of satsang together. But it's not necessary. Happiness, this inside healing you're looking for, is natural. It's easy. It takes time, yes. So much my speech about this. Thank you for your email. Thank you for your questions. Simone, should I go on or do you have something?
Please go on, Michael.
Oh, yeah. I love to go on. Here's a question about meditating. Can I meditate for long hours? Guruji, I feel honored by this. For example, 5 or 6 hours or even 10 hours in the crown chakra. I will attend a 10-day Vipassana course in the future. And that's why I'm asking this. Will it be safe for me to meditate this crown chakra meditation for long hours? Because in Anapanasati, we don't have this time limit. Thank you. Thank you for this really good question. Yeah, Swamiji, who brings the Samarpa meditation, he says, meditate for half an hour in the morning. More is not needed. And I made my own experiences with this. When I started the Samarpa meditation, in the beginning I did half an hour. It was lovely and it was beautiful. And then slowly I meditated longer, just because it was so nice. But then at some point I noticed that it was almost like I tried to meditate as long as possible. But then I noticed something in me. I noticed like I had this ambition to meditate as long as possible. It's like I felt proud of meditating long. And this is not good. This is not why we meditate. It's like you sit down for half an hour, and this is a time of doing nothing. No goal. There is no place for ambition. You just sit down and enjoy this half an hour where you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to pay attention to your thoughts. You can just rest. And then, after this half an hour, then you start your normal life. And it's my personal experience that the normal life is just as important as the meditation. It's not that life is the problem and meditation is the replacement. This is not true. You live your life. You start your day with the meditation, with this half an hour. And then you go out into the day. And then what you can do is you can bring this meditative quietness in you into the day. And this will change your day. And after a few years, your whole day becomes more meditative. Your whole life becomes meditative. Everything becomes different. But not by you meditating longer, but by you making life a meditation. You become different. The way you live becomes different. And life helps you with this. That's the key to understand. Usually we think life is the problem. All these challenges you encounter, these difficult feelings, these difficult situations, tragedies, accidents, illnesses, we think they are the problem. But when you start meditating, when you start accepting, when you start saying yes to your feelings, to yourself, and to life, then you discover that this is not true. In fact, everything life brings you is a help to be even more meditative, to be even more accepting, saying yes to my feelings, saying yes to life. Yeah, it's like what Jesus said, "Thy will be done." That's what we learn by having a meditative life. And then all these obstacles, all these problems we usually try to get rid of, we realize they are the help. Every difficulty I encounter is the next opportunity for me to realize, oh wow, another thing I reject, another thing I believe this is a problem. And then you learn to say yes to even that. And with every yes you say, with every acceptance you practice, you discover again and deeper and ever deeper who you really are. Your peace becomes deeper. It's like after a while you run out of problems because you made peace with everything and there are no problems left. And then something else comes which is a problem, and then you make peace with this. And the problem disappears and you became even more yourself. You became even more peaceful, more happy, more soul. I don't know whether this makes sense, what I try to put into words here. But this is my personal experience. And that's why it's not good to meditate excessively long. Because you will develop this attitude that life is the problem. No, you meditate for half an hour, and then you can't wait to go out into life and try to be here in the moment and with your attention away from the thoughts in your crown chakra, while you work, while you cook, while you eat, while you love, while you get angry. That's fun. And there you find your true ground in life, you know. It's not about escaping life. That's what I like about the Samarpan meditation. That's what I like about Swamiji. He grounds us. This is not a meditation which disassociates you from life. It's almost like it brings you more into life and into your true being. That's my personal experience. Thank you for your question. Simone, can I go on?
Yes, you can
Okay.
go on, Master.
Yeah, you know, when I get started, then it's hard for me to stop, and you have to stop me then if you have
I will do this if I see a question on Zoom or on YouTube.
Okay, here's another question about meditating. When I direct my attention to the crown chakra, my eyes automatically look at the crown chakra, like when I look between my eyebrows. Is this normal? Yeah, thank you for your question. This is normal. It's like the eyes follow your attention. Yeah, if your attention, you can try this. You can close your eyes, and here to my left in this room, there's the door of this room. And if I close my eyes, and if my inside, I go with my attention to this door, the eyes will try to go over there, although I have them closed. This is normal. Don't worry about it. In fact, you know, you don't have to worry about anything connected with the meditation. It's not, you don't have to think about whether you sit the right way or whether if your eyes do something funny, whether this is okay or not. There is no need to think about how you meditate. And Swamiji said something really beautiful about this. He said, the way your meditation is going, is not your business. It's my business, he says. So you give the responsibility for your meditation to Swamiji or to God or to life, whatever you feel comfortable with. Yeah. It's not your concern. It's not your fault when you have a meditation which you think is not good. And if you have a meditation which you think is amazingly nice and good, it's also not your merit. Yeah, it's not because you did something good. It's also not your responsibility. Yeah, it's all a gift. It all happens by itself when you meditate. So let's go on to the next question. Here is a question about illnesses and a sick body. Is it true that our body only reflects our inner state? That is to say, if I say yes to life, irrespective of its content, then are we healthy? I have so many health problems, and I'm often really desperate because it does not get better. So is my actual state the result of not saying yes to the present moment as it is? And what is the solution? What is the doorway out? Do I have to say yes to my illnesses? Do I have to imagine a healthy body? Do I have to say yes to myself that I'm healthy, although I don't believe it? Simply because I do not actually experience it? I recognize that I'm very often in the next moment, planning for the so-called future. Although I know intellectually that there's no future, and that there's an eternally here and now. Nevertheless, my mind pulls me away from the now very, very often. And when I am pulled away, do I say no to the present moment? Is it like this? And what can I do against it? How far are affirmations a good idea? For instance, I heard that liver problems stand for you're being angry and always complaining. Does it help to reflect all the time about things you are grateful for? This is a lot of questions in one email. Thank you so much. Well, I would like to tell you two things about this subject of illness and your body. Your body is highly influenced by your inner state. I would say 95% of what's going on in your body depends on your inner state. And maybe you don't know this, but when you start meditating, the first thing you will learn when you start meditating is how crazy your thoughts are. And when you keep meditating, you will meet a lot of feelings you never felt. You know, here in the satsang, we heard about fear, anxiety, and you meet all these feelings which are often just barely under the surface of your being, or they're cooking inside of you. And they're usually a result of all this thinking all the time. We worry about so many things. Basically, as a normal human being, we feel wrong, we feel scared, and we are worried most of the time. Often we are not aware of it, but somehow it's in there. And this drains most of your energy. Your body becomes totally weak because all your energy is spent on thinking and on worrying. This is an amazing energy loss. And basically, you tell your body the whole time, there's a problem, there's danger, this is not safe. It goes like this the whole time. But for most people, this is so normal that they know nothing about this. And this makes the body really sick. You know, you can eat some food, and if you believe this food is really bad for you and you worry a lot about it, you will get stomach problems. And I can eat the same food and not think about it at all, but be just thankful that I have another day where I have food. The same food is good for me. That's the power of thoughts. But it's not the thoughts we think. Yeah, we think on purpose. Yeah, you can't think, I love this food. It's this unconscious thinking deep down in your psyche. Yeah, that's what you truly think about life. And usually these are negative thoughts. There's no trust. There's no relaxation. I want to share something with you, what is really funny. A few months ago, Swamiji, this Indian guru who brings the Samarpa meditation, he was here in Germany where I live, and he gave a session where people could come and listen to him, and he also did a children's session. So after the session for the adults, he went to meet the children, and the children could ask him questions. And my daughter, she's great, you know, she's a little Buddha. She's 10 years old. And she asked this spiritual giant, I mean, you know, Swamiji is like a Jesus. He's like a living Jesus in our times. So she had the chance to ask him a question. And she asked, how is it to be a saint? And he said, very, very relaxing. That was his answer. You know, a Jesus, a saint, these are the only people who are relaxed. Nobody else on this planet is relaxed. But most people don't know it because it's so normal for them to be in constant anxiety. It starts when we are little children. And then we go to kindergarten, although we are way too young. And then we go to school and we worry about this and that. And it goes on like this forever. And this makes the body sick. This makes us crazy. And when you start meditating, when you start learning to say yes to yourself, to your feelings, to how your life is, then you will discover that this is all not a problem. All your worries, all your problems will go away. And this makes your body as healthy as your body can be. Now, there's a second thing I want to say about this. You know, many people like to believe that their body could be perfectly healthy. If they do everything right, for instance, meditate properly and thinking the right things or not thinking at all, then their body would be perfectly healthy. But this is not the case. You see, when you start meditating, when you start this path to become a saint yourself, and that's your potential, then how your body is not important to you anymore. You begin to discover who you really are. I mean, I love my body. I'm totally grateful for this body. This body serves me so well, so faithfully. But he will die sooner or later. And I'm fine with it. I'm willing to die anytime. It's not important to me. And that's where you get when you begin to discover your true identity, which has nothing to do with this body. And when you become peaceful and relaxed, truly relaxed, when you become a saint, then you remove all this unnecessary burden from your body, and your body can become as healthy as it can. But your body will still have his hallmark funninesses. Yeah, every body has some things or the other where your body just, some bodies like to get colds, other bodies like to have this problem or that problem, and maybe it stays. But it will not bother you anymore. Right now you feel totally dependent on the state of your body. And this just changes. So, yes, your body completely depends on your inner state, on your inner happiness. But how your body is when you remove this unnecessary burden, you will find out. Thank you. What really makes the body sick is that we have such a strong focus on the body. We feel dependent on the body. We think this is important, that this body is safe and healthy and everything. And I am this body, and this body needs to be good, and all this. And this makes the body totally sick. But when you learn to leave the body alone, when you learn to mind your own business, and that is to discover your soul, then your body is happy without you, so to speak. And then your body can relax. I don't know whether these works make sense for you, but that's how it is for me. Thank you for your question.
Now I have a question, Martin.
Oh, how nice. Yes, please, Simone.
The question is from Hiranyakashipu.
Ah, hello. Nice that you are here.
Hi, Michael. How is your experience with loneliness? How to be okay with loneliness and the pain that can come with it?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. There you ask the right person. I am an expert on loneliness. When I came to my spiritual master 25 years ago, after a while, I don't know, maybe half a year later or a year later, we had a conversation. And Soham said to me, Michael, your issue is loneliness. You cannot be alone. You see, loneliness doesn't mean that the problem is that you are alone. It means the problem is you cannot be alone. There's no problem with being alone. It's lovely. I love to be alone. But most people cannot be alone. I couldn't. And when my master told me this, I was totally surprised. I didn't know this. But I have shared earlier in the satsang that through my spiritual master, I learned to make friends with my feelings. I learned to feel my feelings and to say yes to them. And I got to know myself. And then slowly, over the years, I learned he is right. I discovered how uncomfortable I am when I'm alone, and how all the time in my life, I behave in such a way that other people like me. And if they don't like me, it's terrible for me. And that I always try to do everything to please other people, just to not be alone. And the way out? Well, the way out is the way in. Yeah. Loneliness? Okay, come. I mean, this is really a task. I know. Yeah. You know, when I say make friends with the loneliness, when I say invite this feeling and feel it, I mean, by saying this, I mean, become willing for this and practice this again and again and again. Stop wanting to get rid of loneliness, but realize I am a guy or a woman who is feeling lonely all the time, and it freaks me out. That's how I am. Okay, I am like this. And now, for the first time in my life, I say yes to how I am. And I allow myself to be this way, including these feelings. And this takes time. You will have to come up with this willingness over and over again. You will have to invite these feelings over and over again. Again and again. It's not something you do in a weekend, but you can start right away. Yeah. Basically, you learn a new attitude towards yourself and your feelings. You learn this attitude of just saying yes to how you are and just saying yes to everything you feel, no matter what it is. And every time you notice that you have a feeling you don't like, it's a new opportunity to practice this new way of being. Then you notice, I thought I made friends with my feelings, but obviously I didn't. Another opportunity to say, come, come. And when you are willing to feel lonely forever, yeah, not this, okay, come, I feel you, so you can go away. Yeah, this new age idea of, okay, I invite the feelings so then they can go. No, invite the loneliness so she can stay forever. Yeah. Loneliness is my closest friend. Very faithful friend. She never leaves. Yeah, that's the way. That's a possibility. Thank you that you're here. Thank you for your question.
No more question at the moment, Michael.
Okay, I'll have some more here on my end. I think this question is from India. I'm not quite sure, but I have been watching your videos for some time. I have been practicing a similar kind of meditation for almost a year now. I am willing to let go of doership and looking for higher self guidance on every moment. But at the same time, I have not realized the presence of the higher self in me, in which I can trust and let go of this doership. Most of my doership is based on fear. I don't know how to trust the higher self instead of my own strength to be in peace the whole day. I'm kind of stuck in this state for a long time, especially with the spiritual ego. Please give me some advice and pray for me. Thank you. Wow, what a beautiful question. You know, you feel where you are at with yourself so clearly. This is so beautiful. Nothing else is needed. Yeah. And what you describe is in such beautiful, simple words that what I tried to describe in the satsang now a couple of times, that you need to have this, you can trust before you really can let go. Otherwise, this letting go is just some kind of mental exercise. Give yourself time. There are a few ways how this can happen. And the path is different for each and every person. If you're lucky, then you fall in love with a guru, with a living Jesus, if you don't like the word guru, or with a saint. And when that happens to you, it's like you don't know why, but you completely trust this being. It's almost like you get the impression, I met God. I mean, it sounds crazy, yeah, because no person can be God, no body can be God. But through the vicinity of this saint or this guru, you experience God. And with this comes a total relaxation. You have not found your own inner higher self, your soul, but through somebody else, you know, this is God. I met God. And you just relax and you start trusting. And then you meditate, and then over time, you don't need this guide, this God on the outside anymore, because slowly, without you even noticing, you experience it in you yourself. And if this doesn't happen to you like this, not a problem. Yeah, the life of every person is just perfect. The only thing you need is patience. Just go on with the meditation you do. Feel your mistrust. Yeah, feel exactly where you are. Just be where you are. Yeah, you have this willingness to let go, and at the same time you feel, I cannot let go because I don't trust. And this honesty, this clarity is all you need. Be at this point, meditate like this every day. Don't wait for anything else. Just make friends with where you are. Trust that this is okay. And the rest, that happens by itself, I promise you. All you need is be where you are. Don't wait for anything. Yeah? Don't think, okay, how long do I have to meditate so this changes? No. It's like with the feelings, where I said, welcome the feelings as if they're allowed to stay forever. Yeah? And the same with yourself. Make friends with this where you are right now. It's a good spot where you are. This is amazing. Such clarity, such honesty. Wow. And just be willing to be exactly there forever. And trust that this is okay. Don't worry about letting go of doership. Just be where you are. Let go of your thoughts. Yeah, but doership is too intellectual. You know, doership is a concept. Just let go of your thoughts. And every time you start thinking again in the meditation, let them go again. That's how you do practical non-doership. And the rest happens by itself. And if you have another question about this, please write to me. I'm really happy to be at your side. Thank you for being here. Simone, can I go on?
No, I have 2 more questions.
Oh, how lovely. Please.
The first one is from Linda.
Hello, Linda. How beautiful that you are here.
Michael, will you ever consider doing a regular online meditation session?
Well, I tell you how it is. This is not my meditation. Yeah, this Samarpan meditation comes from Swamiji. And Swamiji encourages meditation groups everywhere in the whole world. In every country, there are some meditation groups somewhere. And also, there are a lot of online possibilities to meditate every day. On my website, I collected a few links to the official Samarpan meditation websites where you can find the schedules. And if you can find it, write to me and I will pass these links on to you. And in these groups, you can do it online or in a city close to you somewhere. There you meditate together with other people with the blessing of Swamiji. And, I speak for myself. I'm not Swamiji. I'm not speaking in his name. I share my own experiences. And the Samarpan meditation, in all of this life and in all the lives I've ever lived, is the best thing I've ever come across. That's why I share about it again and again. But it's not my meditation. And if I would do the meditation, if I would do a session, I could certainly do this. I meditate every day. I know how to do it. But then you learn it from me. And it's better when it's not connected to me. It's better when it's not connected to a single person. You know what I'm getting at? It's better that it has nothing to do with me personally. And that's why I don't do something like this. That's why I always pass you on to a meditation group or to Swamiji directly. What I do is, for instance, when I give a retreat, in the retreats next year, we will meditate together every evening. But also there, I'm not leading the meditation. I will, with the participants of the retreat, participate in one of those online meditations. So somebody else, with the blessing of Swamiji, will start the meditation and we all together just meditate together. And in this way, it's the best for you. It's again, earlier I read out this question where somebody asked me whether I would do private sessions. It's kind of like the same thing. I don't want you to think that you need me. And I don't want you to think that this meditation has anything to do with me. It's your meditation. It comes directly from Swamiji to you. And there are so many online meditations out there, so many groups. And I'm so happy when you listen to me and when you like my videos or when you like my satsangs. But the meditation is bigger than I am. Much, much, much bigger. Yeah. That's why I don't do it. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Linda.
Can I read out the last question, even if it's already
Yeah, if you're fine with it, I think tonight we are hosting, so we can go overtime a little bit. Yeah.
Anne,
Hello, Anne.
she's asking,
Beautiful that you're here in Satsang. Welcome.
is it important that the meditation is done first thing in the morning, or can it be done at another time of the day or evening?
Thank you. This is a great question. Thank you very much. It's like this. The most important thing with this meditation is don't make a problem out of it. The only important thing is that you meditate every day. Do it every day. Now, I can tell you a few things you can do so it's most beautiful or most beneficial. But these are all nice to haves. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you can meditate first thing in the morning, I find this the best time to meditate. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Meditate any time when it's doable and convenient for you. The only important thing is that you meditate. Normally it's like this. People start the meditation and then they want to do it right. And then the head starts thinking, okay, I should do it in the morning and I should do it this way and I have to do it this way and that way, but I can't. I don't have time there. And before you know it, they stop the meditation again because they think, I can't do it perfect, so what's the point? And of course, this is only the head trying to find excuses not to meditate, because the meditation will throw the thoughts from the throne. Yeah, it will dethrone the mind. So just meditate the way you can do this. I'm an engineer. I look at everything I do and all the processes, even in the household, and I try to optimize everything. I'm just an engineer. I can't help it. And I look at it like this. Since I spend half an hour of my time for this meditation, I might as well do it at a time where it's most effective and most beneficial for me. Yeah? So I get the most out of this half an hour. The most joy and the most effect. And when I do it early in the morning, before anything else, everything which comes afterwards in the day benefits from the meditation. Because my state is different. Everything I do is different. Even if I forget completely about I don't think about the meditation anymore. I just get lost in my day. But I started off the right foot. And when I meditate, let's say in the afternoon, then I only have half a day which benefits so beautifully from my morning meditation, from the meditation. And that's the way I look at it. Yeah, that's why I do it in the morning. But I know many people who ask this question Swamiji personally. And he said, I'm just passing on what he said. He said, don't worry about these details. All these details are unimportant. You know, how you sit, where you sit. There are recommendations for all these things. But the one important thing is that you meditate every day. Everything else, don't worry about it at all. It's not serious, you know. This is for you to enjoy. This meditation is for you to have half an hour of not being serious, not worrying about anything, especially not worrying about doing the meditation right. Yeah. So just do it the way you want. Thank you, Anne. I'm happy that you're here. That's it. There's, I think, one very, very short one. I just want to check this out here. Yeah, there's one more very short question I would like to read out. And then we have to stop, unfortunately. I finished my 40th day of meditation practice, but alcohol and cigarettes are still with me. It seems like not every meditation technique is necessarily suitable for everyone. I don't blame anybody, but it might not be suitable for me. Thank you. Thank you for writing. You know, when you meditate, you meditate without any expectations. If you meditate and you have expectations, then you don't meditate. This email, he writes in response to something I once shared in a video. I shared something about what Swamiji told about alcoholics. And Swamiji spoke to alcoholics at a clinic in India. And these alcoholics, they were alcoholics for a long time. And they just couldn't stop drinking. And then Swamiji introduced them to the Samarpa meditation. And he told them, don't try to change. In fact, just drink if you want. Drink as much as you want, but meditate. And he said that after these 45 days, which he recommends as an initial time of meditation, he says, when you pick up the meditation, when you learn it, do it for at least 45 days. Because this gives you the first own experiences with it, and then it's easy to go on. And he said, after these 45 days, where these alcoholics started meditating based on his recommendation, 90% of them stopped drinking. And the doctors couldn't believe it. And that's what happens when you completely let go of any expectations and any judgments. Yeah? These alcoholics heard Swamiji. They stopped wanting to change. They stopped waiting for stopping with the drinking. They stopped trying to not drink anymore. That's meditation. Coming to peace with how I am. Okay, I am the way I am. Forever. And that's the secret. That's where the magic starts happening. This total acceptance of yourself. And this is my personal experience too. I had some addictions, nothing serious. I was never an alcoholic or something like this, but at some point I enjoyed eating meat. I had meat every day. It's not that I wanted to stop eating meat, but I started meditating. After a while, it just stopped by itself. But I like to drink wine. I didn't think that it's a problem. I didn't try to stop drinking wine. I had a glass every day or so. I'm sure my body didn't like it, but I didn't worry about it at all. Not at all. And I meditated. And at some point, I just didn't like wine anymore. I just didn't like it anymore. It's not that I thought, oh, finally, I can stop. No, I didn't want to anymore. It happened by itself at some point. I don't know, after 1 or 2 years. I didn't count the days. I didn't wait for anything. I didn't want to stop. And that's the secret. So if you have a problem with you drinking, if you have a problem with you smoking, and if you pick up the meditation in order to stop drinking and smoking, that's not meditation. This will not work. The meditation is your way to make friends with all of this. you stop wanting to change. I know your head tells you you should stop. Everybody else tells you you should stop. That's the problem. And in the meditation, you let go of all these beliefs, all these wishes, all these plans. And although everybody says this is impossible, and your own head says this is impossible, you should want to stop, and you need to take care of your life and all of these things. And in meditation, you learn to accept all of this and to just be here the way you are. And you forget any wish to change. You stop waiting for change. You make your home where you are now. And then all the things which are good for you happen by themselves. It doesn't matter when. They happen at the right time. That's why I say, be patient. But when I say be patient, it's not really put the right way, because this still implies some sort of waiting. I should better say, don't wait for anything. Stop waiting. Just be here, forever here like this. And then everything which should change will change, but by itself. Yeah, and the last thing I want to say in this satsang is, yes, you are right. This meditation is not for everybody. I share about it because my experiences, it's great for me. But Swamiji himself says, if you don't feel resonance with this meditation, no problem. There's a way for everybody. It's up to you. It's your choice. I'm not saying this is the only way. No, this is not true. I say it's the best way I know, and I have been on the way for a long time. But I'm not saying this is the only way. You have to find your way. And the one thing I say frequently is, I want to encourage you to be true to yourself. Yeah? Follow your own path. And that's the example I want to give. I always followed my own path. And that path brought me to Samarpan meditation. That's why I'm so happy about it. Yeah. I don't think you have to do the same thing like I do. I'm just talking about it so you can check it out. And if you notice, oh wow, I'm open to this. This is it. Then do it. But there's a way for everybody. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for this satsang. Thank you that you are here. I'm delighted. This is so great that we could do this here together tonight. And I would love to do this again. I would really like to establish this English satsang once a month. If you have thoughts about it, write to me. I'm really happy to hear from you. If you have questions about your life, about your spiritual path, or about what has been said here in satsang, please write to me. I'm looking forward to your email. And at the end, I want to tell you, everything I do here is free of charge. The satsang is free. All of my videos are free. Everything I do online is free. And it's good this way. And I want you to enjoy all of this without any feeling of obligation. But I put all of my time and energy into this. And I'm very, very happy if people feel joy to support me in this financially. And if you want to support this, I'm totally happy. And you can go on my website, on the donation page. There you find information how you can do this. But just if you feel joy, I want you to enjoy everything here without any obligation. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for satsang. I love you.